Hey everybody, it's Harley, and today I will be talking about divorce. And it is one of the reasons that I decided to make my YouTube channel, and I thought it was such an important topic to talk about, especially during right now with all of the issues in COVID. And before COVID, divorce was such a prevalent thing, but now that COVID has happened and it has affected so many marriages, a lot of people have decided to go forward and do divorce. Me myself going through a divorce this year has been one of those reasons why I wanted to also make this YouTube channel, because I didn't want it to I wanted to put an emphasis on why divorce could actually be a very positive thing instead of a negative, right? So I feel like depending on how you view things, and this is why it's important to have a fixed mindset and an open mindset when it comes to things, right? Because it just depends on how you view things. And one of the reasons why I feel like divorce is such a great thing now is because we women in general were not always able to make those choices for ourselves. If you look back to the 1920s, the men were the only ones that were allowed to make those decisions for us. And even in the 1950s, there had to be like physical evidence to show the judge to show infidelity in order for a woman to want to be divorced, right? And that is when it came into about where women had to prove to the judge that there's physical evidence of infidelity, and it was only then that they could actually file for divorce. Where you fast forward now and women are able to make those choices for themselves and file for divorce, and it is just such an easy, super easy, way of doing it, and it doesn't have to be super costly, and it could just be very amicable, and it could be a decision that could be made with both parties, where you decide that that relationship is no longer working. And a lot of people do group therapy, couples therapy, and try to work in all of these issues before deciding to get divorced. And I have some of these things here that you could do in order before you decide to get divorced. So some of the things to consider before divorcing is it takes about just as much effort as getting divorced as in working on this relationship to get fixed, right? So getting divorced is a lot of work, depending on the assets that are shared, depending on if there is some type of, if one of the partners is not exactly excited about the fact of ending that marriage. So if you think that you're gonna forget about that person instantly and that the pain is gonna go away immediately, it is not. It is a lot of work, and it does take time, and it is very painful, but I feel like pain is just part of growing. Pain is something that you could use for your benefit in order for you to grow as a person, right? Like that saying, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, right? And for me, it was one of those situations where it helped me grow as a person and evolve as a person and really get to know myself and really find out what I wanted in a relationship or in a marriage, and what I did want and what I didn't want it, and what worked and what didn't work. And it made me realize that I had to work on a lot of things in myself in order for me to be happy in a relationship. And I also realized that the person I was with had a lot of things that he had to work in that relationship and within himself in order for us to work as a couple. And at the time, it just wasn't working, and we weren't able to find a common ground to fix things and just make it work. So we decided to just walk away and end the marriage, and move forward as two people that still love and respect each other, but wish each other well and happiness with other people. So, or not with other people, but just happiness within, right? And sometimes you don't need another person to make you happy. You just need to find that happiness within, which was what I did in my case, right? Um, so some of those things that you could do is, so understanding the reasons that even if you were to trade partners, right? Before you get divorced, consider the fact that if you have issues that you're not working on yourself, if you have abandonment issues, if you have self-confidence issues, if you have trust issues, if you have anger issues, and you don't fix those things that destroyed your other marriage, and you take them to the next relationship, that relationship is going to fail as well. You need to really take the time to fix yourself, to heal those issues before going into another relationship and bringing all of that baggage to another relationship. Only because you're changing partners doesn't mean that those issues are just going to erase and go away. You really have to take the time to heal and fix your issues and fix yourself within and find that confidence, that self-love, in order for you to be productive, in order for you to make another relationship successful, and for it to work great for you. So you can't just fast forward and not really take the time to grow as a person and to fix all of these issues. In order for you to be happy, you have to do the work, right? And so before getting divorced, also consider the fact that you need to forgive your partner. You need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive yourself for the years that you spent that it didn't work out, and don't hold anger towards that person. Don't blame that person for everything. Hold yourself accountable too, right? And forgive them for whatever happened during that marriage that didn't work, in order for you to heal and for you to move forward. And I always say that everything that happens in life, even the bad things, are all lessons that we could learn from, right? So it wasn't a complete waste of time, especially when there is children involved. There is always that blessing of the children. Children are blessings. Everything that happened during the relationship, whether it worked or it didn't, those are all things and memories that you still share together, that helped you as a person. And moving forward to your next relationship, those are things that are going to help you remember, or try to help you work on things that didn't work and things that worked. So when you go on your second relationship, or when you move forward as a person, you know what worked and what worked and what didn't work. And before you decide to divorce, look at all of those things and really understand your relationship for what it was, and understand that maybe it wasn't even the person. Maybe it was just these issues that you didn't work on yourself, and you were blaming them on your partner. And sometimes it's just as easy as fixing those issues within yourself in order for that relationship to grow. But I feel like it's a mutual thing. I feel like it's mutual work. Like, both of the people in the relationship have to work on these things, and they really want to put the effort to making it work. But without any work, there's no hope, right, for that relationship. So both of the people want to change and want to work for that relationship and fix things, right? So one of the other advice is, don't let pride be the reason for you to hurt your ex, right? Or for you to destroy your marriage into an awful way, especially if there was infidelity or lies in between. Don't let your pride guide you and help you do bad decisions, because sometimes when we are very angry at a situation or a person, we just want to hurt them, right? But you're not hurting them, you're hurting yourself, right? You're hurting the children by making the marriage just about money, right? Or making the divorce about money, or trying to destroy that person that hurt you in any way you can. And don't let your pride make things worse. Forgive Like, forgive that person, wish them well, and move on with your life if that relationship didn't work. If that person wasn't happy with you, if you weren't happy with that person, just understand it for what it was and let it go. There's no reason why it has to go into this hatred. There's no reason why you have to hold on to it and make it into a horrible thing. Um, at the end of the day, you want to do all of these things in the best way possible, just to make the divorce as less painful as possible for everybody in it, right? And nobody likes to be divorced. Nobody wants to go through the divorce. It's such a painful thing to do. It's like the end of a marriage, it's the end of a family, and everybody in the family is going to be affected by it. But the goal in life is to come out of the marriage, or the end of this marriage, in the best possible way, where there is still some type of respect and friendship within, right? Where there's no hatred, where there is no anger, where pride is not involved in it. At the end of the day, you don't want the children to get hurt during that situation, and you don't want to focus all of your pain and forget all about the kids, right? So during my divorce, I was going through a lot of pain, and I was very heartbroken, but I realized that I had to be there for my child, and I didn't want her to see me that way, and I wanted her to be strong and feel empowered by me always. And I wanted her to know that she doesn't have to stay in a relationship that is not working. She doesn't have to, just stay with a person that is not fulfilling all of her needs, that is not, the other puzzle piece that she needs for her to find happiness, but it's not even that. It's like, you need your own happiness. You need to find your own happiness. That person should enhance that happiness, should enhance you as a person. And if they're not, then there is no reason why to stay in that relationship if that person is unable to give you those things, right? And I wanted her to know that, and to learn that, and to understand that we are in different times now where we could change things in our life. We're able to change our destiny. We're able to change our future. And if something doesn't work, we are able to change it. We're able to make decisions to end things, to try to fix things. But if the other person refuses to change things, then you could just go forward and make the decision and just end things and start over and find yourself and make yourself happy and be reborn and find your true purpose in life. And you don't have to stay in a relationship that is not working. And I feel like that's important. And at the end of the day, it wasn't about my pain, it wasn't about what I was going through. It was about making sure that the children in a marriage or in that divorce are happy, that they are being taken care of still, that they know that both of those parents still love them, that they still have to go to school, they still have to get good grades, that even though both of those parents are no longer living together, that they are still gonna take care of them, and that they are still gonna be there to support them financially and emotionally, and in any way they will always be loved, even though those parents are no longer living together. And I didn't want her to see me upset. I didn't want her to see me give up on life and my dreams and my goals. And I wanted to inspire her, make her know that even when bad things happen, we still go forward, even when bad things occur. And we are very resilient, and we keep going forward, and we keep on working on our dreams. And we shouldn't give up on our dreams, that we should keep moving forward. And one of those big things that I had to do was heal myself, right? And I found like meditation was very helpful. Relying on my friends when you're going through a divorce, relying on your friends is like a big thing. Relying on family, being open about how you're feeling, and just knowing that you need help. And sometimes you even need help with those children too, right? knowing that sometimes you need help for, if you're a single parent, to have somebody pick somebody else from school, or if you're having a day where you're not feeling your best, for, somebody to take over and, help you. I don't know, find the encouragement to do good that day, or if you need to just go out and have like a day with your girlfriends and, forget about everything, then take the time to do it. And one of the things that helped me a lot during on how to go through a divorce in the best way possible is, not forgetting about yourself. Like, instead of just gaining weight and being, miserable and just giving up on life, I did the opposite, right? For me, it was just like I focused more on my health. I focused more on my well-being. I focused on my looks. I focused on, I really took the time to think about my dreams, right? And I had to come up with a better way how to become more financially stable than before, because it was no longer like relying on somebody else for that. It was more of, what can I do for me to be financially stable for me and my daughter? And what am I going to do now for me to be able to get there, and what is it going to take, and how am I going to get there, and come up with a plan, and keep going and keep focusing on that, and and where before my dreams were they were huge, but they were not as huge as now. There was no reason for me to limit myself and just be a housewife. Now I could do anything in life that I put my mind to. Now I could just, decide to be anything in the world that I decide. If I want to travel, I could travel. If I want to explore different careers, I could do that. If I want to immerse myself in my career, then I could do that. And just finding yourself, finding something that motivates you, your drive, and showing your children that only because the relationship ended or a marriage ended, it's not a reason for us to give up on life. That life doesn't end there, that we have to keep going. And if anything, it's a good thing, it's a positive thing, because now we have a reason to start over and really focus on ourselves, right? And see what makes us tick, what makes us happy. How are we gonna make ourselves happy on our own, and what dreams do we have that we haven't accomplished, before, that we could put all of our emphasis on, and building a solid plan on how to put money away for your kids on your own so they could go to college, and how are you going to motivate them to keep going, and how are you going to take care of them by yourself, and what resources are out there, and just keep going forward, like, don't give up on life. Fix your hair, do your makeup, like, work on yourself, work on what makes you happy, work on healing. It's a lot of work. Don't go into a relationship right away and try to like find whatever it is that didn't work in that other person and somebody else, because everybody's different, right? Every person's different, and I feel like I needed to heal first. I needed to find myself and work on myself, and I've always prioritized my career and my child first, aside everything else, and I know that I have to focus on that. Everything else was going to happen in time, when it was time, but I wasn't focused on running back into a relationship or working on that. I just wanted to be by myself and focus on myself and heal, right? And that is something that is very great to do. And buying yourself some nice outfits, taking care of your children, making sure that you tell them they're loved, making sure that you spend enough time with them, making sure that you make fun memories with them, that you make them forget about the process, that you tell them you love them every day, that you tell them that you check on them even more to make sure that they are happy, that they're content, get them the therapy that they need, get them give them extra love, give them extra attention, make them feel more secure, make them feel like they're self-sufficient, show them that, that you're able to do it on your own and that they could do it too, and that they don't need to be in a relationship to be happy, and that they don't have to stay in a relationship that doesn't work, and how to make good decisions, right? Teach them how to really, really get to know somebody before you get into a relationship, and really, really get to know somebody and work on yourself before you decide to get married. And know that relationships are a lot of work, and marriages are a lot of work, and some people are very lucky and they find a person that they're still with after 30 years or after 20 years. And I thought I had that key to success for my marriage, because I was in a marriage for I don't know, a lot of years, maybe like a lot of years, right? Maybe a decade or more. And but it wasn't that. It was just the fact of being comfortable in a situation and not wanting to change, and not wanting to really take the time to fix those things until you have grown so different apart that you had to change things, because and I'm glad that it happened now while I'm still young and I'm able to move on, and there's still time for me to like go out there and reach my dreams, and maybe fall in love again, or maybe find love in the future, somebody that's more like me, or somebody that's gonna be hardworking and motivating, and somebody that's gonna love me for who I am and support me, and be romantic and all the things that I want in a person. And yeah, just teaching children that, and knowing your self-worth, and moving forward. But this goes to everybody that is not in the best relationship and is afraid to make that transition over to divorce. Sometimes when you stay in a relationship and it's a toxic relationship or a toxic marriage, and you want to do it for the kids, just know that the children know when the parents are unhappy. They know when there's tension in the family. They know when there's fighting. They can sense all of that. And I feel like if you're going to stay in a relationship for the children, just know that those kids are seeing all of that unhappiness, and you're teaching them to be unhappy and to stay unhappy. And at the end of the day, everybody's unhappy. So teach them instead how to find happiness, how to make yourself happy, how to make the right decisions, how to value yourself, how to find happiness within yourself, or how to work in that relationship. Talk to your spouse, try to really work on that relationship, try to build and fix that family dynamic, right? Work on things that need to be fixed, talk about it, communicate, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be rebuilt. If you don't want to get divorced, work on those things. But just know that staying in a relationship for the children is not always the best idea. And yeah, there's other ways to deal with it. And if you are going through something that's really, really difficult, and you need resources or help to make that next transition, or know that I'm here for you, and that I'm able to maybe guide you and help you how to do the paperwork and how to get there, because I myself am going through that now. So yeah, this is part 1 of this video, and I will be making a second part talking more about what's the next thing to do once you decide to get divorced, and how to go from there. Thank you. Bye.